Hello, welcome to Loot Level Chat, the podcast from Loot Level Chill. I'm Mick Fraser, and I've got with me I haven't got Kieran.
It starts with a
not
line.
here.
He's not even here. It's because I just mentioned him, because he's coming for the bonus this week. So if you're a Patreon and you're a big fan of Kieran, you're in luck. No, I've actually got Steve Chambers.
Hello.
And Lyle Pendle.
Hello there.
Lyle's 2 weeks in a row. Lyle.
I know.
Don't get used to it, mate. Come on.
And we've been chatting in the green room for about 10 minutes and his internet has remained stable. So touch wood, knock on wood, however you want to say it, wherever you're from.
All the wood.
Do people vary? Is that a varied thing? Do people say touch wood rather than knock on wood?
I say touch wood. Where I'm from, we say touch wood, but I've heard...
I would say touch wood. Knock on wood feels just like a lyric from like the 60s.
I've heard people say knock on wood.
Yeah. I just wondered. Never heard that one.
Usually I do that. Touch wood.
Every week here.
Touch wood, wouldn't it? Hey? You know. Anyway. Yes, top level banter.
Speaking of touching wood, video games.
Yeah.
That could have gone either way. That could have gone very, very...
I tried to go vaguely, Steve.
Could have gone very to the left then. Yeah, video games. We ain't got fucking any.
Oh, no. So, slow week. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, slow week. Wouldn't it? What's a slow week, Lyle? You don't know what a slow week is. I see your
I don't know
board.
what a slow week. Yeah,
Lyle's not had a slow week in about 3 years.
We don't have slow weeks, Lyle. No, I haven't had slow weeks. I've been reviewing. I've reviewed 4 games this week. Well, 2 games. 2 of them were DLCs, but they're fucking huge fat DLCs, which we'll talk about.
They might as well be full games, aren't they, at that point?
Yeah. In fact, let's talk about the Alters DLC first, because I feel like that's the one you two probably have less interest in. Maybe.
Well, this is the one I know that you were mad for the base game, weren't you?
I love the Alters. Did you play it, Lyle?
No, I didn't. I sort of wanted to, but that's a lot of games in it.
Yeah. Did you, Steve?
I played through the opening. Was there a demo? Or I just made that
There was a demo. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I played through the entirety of the demo.
Yeah,
then just never got round to the.
Well, it's a game that's not for everyone. Let's be honest. Like, it isn't. It's not your typical. Even for like fans of like what it is, which is a tactical base management game. It's very much not the normal way of doing it. But 11-bit studios, in my opinion, they just produce magic. I loved the Alters. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I thought it was really, really unique. It's genuinely quite funny and moving. There's got some real good, like the emotional beats in it were really strong. The main character is wonderful. So you've got, I presume people know what the Alters was, but if they don't,
this is where you've got a whole mix of clones, isn't it?
Yeah,
and they're all the same guy, but
so the idea is that you're a guy named Jan Dolsky, and they're all voiced by the same guy, Alex Jordan, who just deserves all the awards. But this guy, Jan Dolsky, he's on a deep space mission. He's got a crew. They've gone out to this planet, and their job is to harvest this stuff called Rapidium, which is this new material that's been discovered in the galaxy, and it's worth a lot to his employer. So it's your typical like heartless corporation sends people into space story.
Oh, this is your Wayland Yutani then,
yeah? Yeah, basically. The ship crashes and everybody dies except Jan. And Jan is just the builder. Like, he's there to construct the base, which is quite lucky as it happens, because but Jan is the builder. That's his job. He's the construction guy. So his job is just whatever the base needs, he will 3D print the modules and slot it in and make it work and all that. That's his job. But on this ship, which turned into like a big mobile base, it's like a wheel that can move around. On this big mobile base, there's a thing called a quantum computer, and it's been given to them so they can use the Rapidium.
Okay.
In order to basically create clones. This is the way you put DNA sample in, you use Rapidium, and it will grow a clone.
Is this why they're so interested in it then, basically?
Yeah. It's like it's a magical MacGuffin wonder material. It can do whatever
made upium.
Yeah. And so what it is Jan is on his own, and he can only do building. He's not very good at everything else, but he learns through conversations with his employer that the cloning machine so it creates what's called an alter. And basically what the quantum computer does is it takes Jan's life, because everybody's memory is encoded and stored in the quantum computer. It takes Jan's life and it will run through his life, and then it will make up a prediction down to the very last detail of what Jan's life could have been had he taken a different path. So the quantum computer, so Jan says, I need an engineer. The quantum computer goes through hundreds of millions of, like Doctor Strange, hundreds of millions of possible futures where Jan became an award-winning engineer, and then extracts that memory line and then puts it into the clone and builds the clone based on that. So if Jan needs an engineer, he can clone an engineer. If he needs a scientist, he clones a scientist. And then so it's
an even more sci-fi version of sliding doors.
Yeah, the only thing that
with less Gwyneth Paltrow.
The only thing that doesn't make sense is how the clones all have different clothes. Like the accents kind of make sense and the different facial hairs and stuff, but it like 3D prints their clothes as well, which is a bit weird, but it's really cool. And so you've got, I think there's 10 alters in the main game and you can only ever have 6, so multiple playthroughs if you want to see all of them. They all interact differently with each other, and then on the back of this you're also doing the base management stuff, so you have to go out into the world to mine resources. You bring the resources back to make modules and equipment that you need, because every so many days the sun rises, and when the sun rises it nukes the planet, so you have to get into the mobile base and drive it away, so you stay away, you stay ahead of the sunrise,
leg it away from the sunshine.
So in the DLC, at the end of the altars, try not to spoil too much, but at the end of the altars there's multiple different endings. In several of the endings, and the ending that I got, which is the good ending, Jan and however many altars leaves the planet. They exit the planet, they get away. So you can either, there's a way to escape the company when they come to get you, or you can build the ship and you can get, there's lots of different alternative ways of escaping, or you can fail. Right, that's an option.
But canon is you do manage to
the
get
canon
away
is
in
you
some
get away.
format.
What the last variable does is kind of make it canon that there's an ending where the scientist, Jan, says, I don't want to go. Like, I don't want to go to Earth. This is like, we haven't finished with this planet. Okay. Like, there's so much stuff. So there's an ending where the scientist stays behind. Well, the last variable canonizes that ending. So scientist Jan remains on the planet. So
yeah, he still has the ability to produce more of him.
He does,
because he's got the quantum computer,
but he doesn't do it. So what you find out is that he builds, like, he changes the way the base composition is, and he puts it underground instead of being a big wheel, because he realizes that the sun goes through this phase of rising for every 13 years. You get a hot phase, and then you get a 13-year cold phase, and you get another hot phase. So he realizes that with all the technology he's got and everything, 3D printers and basically magic technology, he creates a cryo chamber underground, so that then every 13 years when the hot phase comes, he just sleeps it out.
That's why he's the scientist. Clever lad.
So after about 50 years, you're born as new scientist Jan, and you're confronted by old scientist Jan, who's like, I've made you so you can carry on, because I'm not finished and I'm out of time. Like, I'm dying. Like he's literally dying.
Passing the torch then.
Yeah, he's literally dying in front of you, and he's like, you're going to have to carry on. There's a whiteboard with a load of notes on it. Good luck. And then he carks it. And so scientist Jan is left with like this dodgy AI who's like gone a bit bonkers, and he's just like, well, you can either rely on me and the notes, or you could use the quantum computer, because the other guy didn't, and there's a lot of rubidium left. So you go but now you've got 4 variations of scientist Jan. So whereas the original game had guard, psychiatrist, botanist, and all this of this, in this version you've only got a chemist, a physicist, a biologist, and a geologist, and they're all worse than the other Jans. Like, the other Jans all had their like little foibles and like one of them cuts his arm off because he lost an arm in his reality.
I remember you talking about
and it does develop it as if they believe 100% that their reality was real. Like, their memories that the quantum computer has given them, they exist. And there's a point where you can like you can look up one of their pasts, because there's one who's gay and he wants to know if his husband is like, what happened to his husband, if he was a real person. And if you look it up, his husband was a real person. So like, that's how accurate the quantum computer is at.
Right. Okay.
So
they've got memories of life they've never had.
They never had, yes. But it also, some of it did happen, but it's different. So yeah, it's quite tangled. But yeah, so in the DLC, sorry,
I was going to say, how does that affect? So obviously, previously, where you'd have those different classes to all intents and purposes, of who you could use that different Yan for doing different things. Now they're all science based, but I'm guessing they have a little variation between, like you say, geologist or chemist.
They have massive
different skill sets.
Massive variation,
and the gay one's the best, obviously.
Yeah, well, I don't know if there's a gay one in this version. It's because
okay.
I've only done one playthrough, and I only had like, you play most of it with 2 Yans. You can only have 2 of the altars. You can't get all 4 till quite a ways into it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So in this one, so they're all scientists. So like the physicist, for example, is basically Tony Stark. He's like he turns up in like a button-up shirt, and he's quite arrogant. And he's when you look at his reality, he's like a proper rock star scientist. Like, he's world famous. He took the money and he chased the fame, and he's done this. And then you've got like the geologist is in like a silly deerstalker hat with badges on it, and he's basically like all for free science. And he's like, he comes up with these mad ideas, and you're like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll do it. And then like he just abandons them. He's fucking really irritated. Like, you'll just go to him and be like, I've got that sample you want. And he's like, I decided that's not going to work. But what we could do is if you get this sample instead, and it's just like,
fuck's sake.
And then you've got and then you've got like a chemist. I can't remember if it's the chemist or the biologist. One of them's like proper, like lived in a cave type, big beard and like hair, and he's all like,
Robin Williams and Jumanji.
Yeah, a little bit. And so they're really different, but they do crazy shit because they all want to do their experiments, and they're all basically scientists in their minds. They've lived a normal life of learning science, and now they've been given a place to work that is basically consequence free and ethics free, and they've got a magic 3D printer that can print them anything they want. And that
doesn't sound like it's going to go wrong at all.
Exactly. So it's essentially like you've got 4 quite maverick scientists who are all from different fields, who have all been given not only like free reign and free technology and basically infinite time, because they're just like, we can just go in cryostasis every time the sun rises, so we can like
keep on going.
They've got all this crazy shit, but the purpose of it is that you found this thing on the planet called the Oasis, and it is a proper oasis. It's a beautiful, lush. The whole planet's barren except this one area. And what the scientists discovered was that this area doesn't get destroyed when the sun rises and wipes everything out. Like, the sun rises and nukes the planet, and even your equipment that's left behind on the surface is nuked by the sun.
So are they thinking this is some kind of key to geoforming the rest of the planet?
Well, that's what you do. The whole purpose of the game is that you keep expanding the oasis. So you build all these new machines, do all this new science, and eventually you learn that you can essentially reproduce the effects of the oasis on a larger scale. So as the story goes, and you age in this, like, it goes over several decades, and you continue because you keep going into stasis and coming out, and some of the Yarns decide not to go in stasis and stay out of it, so they grow older, and like, you are to terraform the planet, and eventually you will cover like the planet in this lush oasis. But it's really good. Like, it's just I didn't know how they would do a DLC for this story, because I've seen 2 endings, and they were both pretty definitive endings. Like, it was like, they're off the planet, it's done. Like, even to the point where I was like, 11-bit are going to want to sequelize this, and I don't know how they're going to do it. Like, because unless they just go
by taking that one version where the scientist stays and using that as the canon, I guess was an easy out for that.
Yeah, exactly. Because I thought that, like, you could do this, and I know people get angry about this, but you could do this with a whole new cast of characters. You could do another character. You could do a woman who clones herself and have that, like, do it like a completely different dynamic of like all these men together, how they behave with each other. Always like one of them tries to be the alpha, and they're quite.
Yeah.
And then, but you could, if you did that with like a woman who clones herself and makes different versions, that could be like a really interesting.
It's a whole new take, isn't it?
But I think Alex Jordan's so good. Like I want to see him do this because he plays Jan up to now. 14, 15 versions of Jan exist now, and they're all the same dudes, same dude's face, same dude's voice. They're all so different. Like he's so good, and he's British, and like Jan isn't, and he does it so well. There's like a scene in the first one where he sings a song with like 5 of the Jans, and they all have different singing voices and different. Do you know what I mean?
That takes some doing, man.
He's so talented.
You'd have
really
to find
fun.
another fucking like magic talent to do that, wouldn't you? Another like perfect fucking person for the job.
And you could do it, but it would be difficult in this instance to have a reason for Jan Dolsky to be in that position again. So I don't know how they'll sequel. I'm sure they will sequelize it because it's very popular. I don't know what the sales and stuff are like because it was a kind of a niche sort of idea. But I know
it feels like it could be a cult classic.
Yeah, it was very successful. It sold well, and I think the DLC will do well because it's 20 more hours. Like the main game was about 30.
Yeah, I was going to ask how long it was because
It's
sounds
long.
chunky.
It's essentially
So this is almost a sequel in itself. Then
it's a 1.5. Yeah, it's definitely like I said. It's I think it took me about 18 hours.
Have they introduced any new mechanics away from what were in the base game?
Yeah, sort of. So like I said, so the difference this time is that you don't have to gather loads of different resources. You just have to gather organics now because you've got to take everyone into cryo. They've brought new equipment into it. So what you do is you find a place that'll have like organics or metal or minerals or rupidium or I can't remember what the other one is. And you put a mining facility on it, and then you build pylons back to the base, and then it will take it up and it will take it back to base. And you build these networks. And every time the sun rises, you move to somewhere new and you have to do it all again. Whereas in this, it's a fixed area because you don't move. But I don't know how they do the cycles. Yeah, every 13 years, the hot phase comes up and you have to go into cryo for it. So when you come out of cryo, the sun has nuked everything. So even though you're in the same area, the resources have come back and you've got to put your stuff back.
All your pylons have been...
And it changes the geology slightly. Yeah. And then later on, it starts where you'll set the terraforming up. And then when you wake up, the oasis will be bigger. And there's new anomalies because out in the world, there's no enemies, there's no aliens, but there's these things called anomalies, which are just like see-through blobs that just like come at you. And you just nuke them. All they do is radiate you, and then you wake up in the base because somebody rescued you. But you nuke them with this thing called the Illuminator, and then you collect what they drop, and it's like this resource that you can refine later. And there's new versions of that. There's new hazards because there was like electrical storms. Now there's earthquakes added into it, and you've got underground pipelines and things now. So instead of just doing the pylons, you start to build underground pipelines which can survive the weather.
So you have a bit of longevity in the plant rather than just starting over each and every time.
Yeah, that's already there's different modules to put into the base and stuff, but generally speaking, the main thrust of it is the same. The big difference is in the Jans.
I was going to say it feels like it's going to be the narrative side of it that is the bigger pull.
And it's just and
seeing where they go with that character relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I want to play it again and make different choices and get different Jans earlier. There's no thing like in the first one, there was a proper ticking clock thing that, and like a choice that was just whatever you did, you could not avoid pissing off some of the Jans. It didn't matter which choice you made out of this particular central choice, you would piss some of them off. There's no way of avoiding it. And one of them, didn't matter what you did, he would be a ringleader and he would go off and take like a set, and they were called the rebels. He'd take a set of Jans off and they'd go and rebel against you. And then the second half of the game is like trying to convince them to come back. That doesn't happen in this. And there's no like in the first game, in the original game, there's something where you start building a Jan because you're making a fake body that you're basically not going to put a brain into. You're not going to put a personality into it. You grow it because you need to harvest the tissue.
That sounds menacing.
That's what makes them. That's what creates the schism.
Yeah, because there are some serious ethical
Yeah,
issues there.
and some of them really don't like this. But if you do it, which I did, and then you forget about him because this load of shit goes off, and you don't use this body,
Oh man,
he fucking wakes up, but he's got no personality, so he just eats and grunts at everybody. You can't like, and he's
he's like one step away from a mannequin,
and you've just got basically a caveman yarn that you can't make do anything, but who consumes the food and the power and gets in the way, and there's nothing you can do about it. Which
is that basically just getting a pet at that point?
Yeah, it's called a tabula rasa.
We all know someone who you have to sort of like feed and look after, and just sort of gets in the way, you know?
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's having a teenager basically in the house. So, but yeah, anyway, the alters last variable, very good. It's if you obviously it's a bit of a no-brainer. If you liked the alters, this is an absolute must because it
sounds like great value, man, as well.
Yeah, it's more of the alters, and I don't know what the price of it is, but it's 20 more hours of that game, but with new stuff. It's all new. Like it feels like the same game, but everything is new. Like new yarns, new problems. You've got more of an investigative thing because you're learning about you're doing a lot of sampling and researching. At the same time, and you're terraforming. It's not just, you're not just up against the planet where you go out and you gather resources and you get back before the radiation at night. It's not like that. It's more you want to go and explore and learn more, and you're making it your own. You're conquering the planet, whereas in the original game you'd just survive in the planet.
It sounds more satisfying to
in
you
the
feel
last
like you're
variable,
getting somewhere.
yeah, you feel like you're achieving something permanent rather than just trying to escape, and it's just it's really good. But yeah, I recommend it.
Sweet.
So that's the alters the last variable, well worth grabbing. Lyle, you've been playing. I would like to learn more about Denshattack.
You want to know all about Denshattack?
I do, because it's got a cool name, and somebody said it's like skateboarding with trains.
That's pretty much it, yeah. So, Denshattack is a combination of the Japanese word for train, densha, and attack. So there's where the train comes in, and so it's kind of a similar sci-fi setting, weirdly, in that this is set in like a climate crisis Japan, where all of the big cities and the rich people have gone under domes to escape climate issues and, live being rich and cunts and, all the sort of stuff that you'd come to expect from this. And everyone else is left outside of the bubbles and sort of like, just sort of surviving, letting nature come back without the world being drained. And in that world, there are people who go around on trains and do mad tricks.
The obvious choice for a post-apocalyptic setting.
Because trains are such an obvious choice for doing mad tricks on.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. So you play as Emmy, who is a ramen delivery girl who goes around in a train, not knowing at all about the magic of Denshattack until one day when she delivers some ramen really fast. Someone's like, you look like you'd be really good at doing mad train tricks because you drive that train really good already, even without the kick flips and stuff. So you learn how to do Denshattack things. And it's sort of like somewhere in between a Tony Hawk game or an Ollie Ollie game, those sorts of things. It's on rails, oddly enough. Hey,
that's the confusing bit where you're applying those the same, but you're on rails.
But you are on rails, but like, you are not on like a rail, you're on many rails that you jump and transfer between to avoid various obstacles and stuff like that. So but in the first level you're basically sort of learning how to move about. So you learn how to like switch rails, to dodge things, to brake, to drift around corners so you keep your speed up, things like that. You learn to jump, obviously, because trains do famously jump, so you can jump and like shift rails like that. And then once you've done, your normal train things, you then learn how to do, the mad tricks. So essentially, anytime you're airborne, you flick the right stick with different patterns in that sort of skate or ollie sort of way to do various skateboard tricks, but with a whole fucking train. And it is stupid, and it doesn't stop being stupid, and it doesn't stop being amusing when you play this game, and you play it for a long time.
Is it a score attack thing, much like they would be, or is there a narrative you're working through?
All of the above. It is a score attack. It is a time attack. It is a narrative. It is a collectible. All these things are happening in each level. So in each level, you basically, they're usually like relatively linear, but with other paths. They'll at least all have a start and a goal that you're reaching towards for the most part. And on that, as you do that, you'll have like a list of like 7 different tasks that are like, use your horn to scare the bats in the cave, or collect all of these little bits, all sorts of little bits, random ramen bowls, or something that a character wants from you. Or it'll be like, oh, there's these levers that'll switch the track, so make sure that you do a specifically good enough trick to hit those levers. And all these different things, you can do them on any run, so you don't have to do like the best score, the best time, get all the collectibles, do it all perfectly. You just sort of can do all of them on repeated runs. So you can do a really fast one, and then you can be like, right, on this one, I'm going to try really hard to combo all these tricks together. So you can manual with your train, you can grind with your train.
Of course you can, yeah.
So you can do that sort of mad combo where you can try to do a combo across a whole stage. And I did many times try to do that, and I'd say 80 to 90% of the times I'd be about a quarter of a way from the end and lose the combo entirely and finish with like 0 points.
There's nothing worse than that, man. Getting into that final stretch and then dropping a bollock.
Mm-hmm. And that happens all the fucking time, and you can't fucking help it. It is difficult. I mean, the amount of stuff that gets thrown at you in this game that is new as you progress is fucking wild. So like, you learn the first level, you're taught like the sort of 4 or 5 basic movement mechanics, and you're like, kind of complex, but I've got it. And then you learn how to do tricks, and then in the stage after that, it's got the grinding, and then the stage after that, you learn how to wall ride, and then it piles on more and more and more mechanics. And I think what's kind of clever about how they mitigate that is not just like a brain fuck, especially. I mean, it is a brain fuck if you put down your Steam Deck or console of choice for about half a day and then pick it up. that goes back.
How the fuck do I do this again?
Yeah, sorry, I have to learn another language real quick. But like, the way you can kind of drill that into your brain is because you're so rewarded and it's so entertaining to play these levels over and over again with the various like ways to achieve different. You get like medals for all the different ways you can do well. So for the score attack, time attack, etc. Then you get it drilled into you because you're gonna be if you play it enough, you're gonna get there.
Yeah.
So it does work.
It feels very ollie coded, like you said, because that has a lot of the same kind of do this challenge in a certain area. It might not always be get a high score. It might just be do something stupid that unlocks a little bit of a different area to go through and do something different again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. It's definitely more. I think Tony Hawk is the everyone knows this way to explain the game, but Ollie Ollie is if you've played Ollie Ollie, you're kind of familiar. But I do think this does it better than Ollie Ollie in every way, as far as I'm concerned.
That's really some bold claims, Lyle.
Yeah, it's so good. The amount of ridiculous. So it sounds ridiculous already, right? We can all agree that flipping a train is fucking stupid, but like it like just doubles down on the stupidness as much as possible. So like, maybe on like the second stage, you'll be riding through a stage, jump onto a Ferris wheel and ride the Ferris wheel and steer it around random shit. The boss of the first world is a mech, and you fight a boss in this game where you're having to like dodge their attacks and then grind up their arms to damage them. And there are various challenges associated with that too, obviously.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And like, this just happens the whole fucking way through. And alongside this, they're still adding the new mechanics. They're still adding. You get to like, I think the 3rd or 4th world, and they suddenly just give you access to different trains that you can use instead of your current train. And they all have a thing that they do better. Like your tricks finish quicker, so you can get more in when you've got you're doing a big jump.
So you can cater it to your needs, whatever you're going for.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's like, in the achievement list, I used like 2 or 3 or 4 that are my favorites. But in the achievement list, I think it said something like buy all 30 trains. So like, this isn't This isn't like there's a few little options that can cater to you. It's like you can do fucking anything with these trains, and by getting all these collectibles and doing well on each level, you'll have more ways to do that, or to buy new patterns and colours to have a bit of style as you're doing your thing. And all
it is important to represent yourself correctly.
It is 100%. We can all agree on that, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And then, alongside this, there's a full story of like every area of Japan you go through, every of the provinces and areas, you'll the people there who are Denshattackers, I guess. I'm not sure of the correct
terminology.
Yeah, the terminology. They'll all be like the first area is like they're all sort of like idol type people, like with ridiculously pretty pink trains, and then
not lazy bastards.
Not lazy bastards.
No.
And then you'll get to the second area, and it's like these like goth Denshattackers, and you'll go to the next world, and they're like all like crotchety old like engineers who will teach you how to modify your train if you prove your worth to them. And it's like a stupid anime story alongside the most like satisfying score attack plus gameplay option, and I couldn't get enough of it. I didn't want to put it down basically ever.
Given you've mentioned the anime side of it, what's the soundtrack like, Lyle?
Oh, the soundtrack
could be absolutely banging.
Yeah, they're fucking amazing. The soundtrack and the visuals are
great. I've seen the visuals. I've watched the trailer a couple of times. Yeah.
It's very Jet Set Radio. In all of those forms.
Really bright and in your face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's perfect for... It helps ease the frustration if you play a level like 5 or 6 times and just fall short of a score target or a time target or whatever. It helps.
Because really, this sounds like just like my kind of thing, man. You know what I'm like for this kind of gameplay. I played the demo. Was it in like a Next Fest ages ago? Or
something? I installed it and never played it.
Yeah, I played it. Maybe I just wasn't in the right headspace for it at the time, but I kind of bounced after the demo, and I think it sounds like it's I definitely need to give a second time and give it a go.
Because I really enjoyed the demo, but when I was done with the demo, I was kind of like, well, you've shown me what sort of thing to expect, and it shows you the tip, the very, very tip of the iceberg.
The teaser.
It's a real teaser. It's not given too much away at all. I thought it had. There was like, I think I did an interview with them just afterwards, and I was like, well, you showed this really cool Ferris wheel bit in the demo. Like, how are you going to top that? And like, they knew. They were like,
it was just like, you have no idea, sunshine.
Yeah, not at all.
Because I think I downloaded this when I was still playing Crimson Desert, and I think I kept looking at it and thinking, I'm not in that.
I mean, that was a big hole to get yourself out of.
I'm not. It wasn't that. It was more like, I'm not in that. I'm in
this is a different world I am in right now.
RPG mode. Yeah, I would pivot to something like fucking Assassin's Creed or something.
Sometimes it just hits you like that, isn't it? Once you fall into like a little bit of a genre trap,
yeah,
it's hard to suddenly switch over.
I do it all the time because I'll review. If I review the same sort of thing a couple of times in a row, like I struggle to get on with anything else, and after a while, I just want a complete palate cleanser, and that would be something like I'd do something like Denshattack. But it sounds really fun, so I might give it a download and check it out.
It exceeded my expectations by quite a lot, because I thought it looked very fun, but I kind of thought it was going to be somewhat arcadey throwaway in some ways.
Yeah, because I would assume the same.
That trap,
Maybe you call it a one-trick pony.
That's what I thought it was going to be. I thought it would. Oh, very good. I thought it was going to be I thought it would be something that would be novelty, like a novelty for like an hour or two, and then you'd be like, I'm done with this now. But to hear that it's quite deep and like not necessarily deep, but there's a lot in it, let's put it that way. Like,
yeah, I mean, it is mechanically deep as well. Like, once you start adding all these different elements and all the ways you can change up your style and use your trains to do so, like it gets to that point more so than a lot of similar titles, definitely.
It sounds like once you've got your brain around sort of the language of those mechanics, it'd be nice to pick up and play and just do a few little I'll do a few challenges here and then dip into something else.
Definitely.
Like you say, it depends how hard it is, like you say, to get back into it. Once you've got in that rhythm and then suddenly give it 3 days, you're like, oh shit, my thumbs don't work anymore.
Yeah, I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, I think that was basically my one complaint with the game at all, was just that there were a few times I put it down and regretted putting it down. But like, I do think that now that I've hit, the well over 10-hour mark, can't really say for certain.
Has it been burned into your DNA now?
Yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere now. And once you're at that point, it's fine. And there's like, it's such a fucking huge game to a point I wasn't expecting as well, where like, if I wanted to 100% everything and master every single track, I could be playing this for like 100 hours quite feasibly. Wow. I think it's ridiculous. There's like,
why do you tell me these things, Lyle? Don't, man.
Yeah, it is the sort of game where, especially if it does click with you on a second time, it might ruin your life a little bit, but like in a nice way, in a friendly ruining.
I think I've seen a website with that before.
I'm careful now. I might check it out. Presumably, did you play it on Steam?
I did. I played it all on Steam Deck, and it was very, very good on Steam Deck for anyone interested in that, or anyone sharing a library with me on this call.
Yes, it'll be in the library, and I have a Steam Deck, so I think I'll check it out.
And there goes 3 a.m. for me tonight. Brilliant.
Yeah, good luck.
Ah, you love it.
Oh, I'm up at just after 3 a.m. tomorrow, so I'm not.
I'll high five you as I go to bed, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll wait. What are we going to talk about next?
I mean, it's a bit of a change of pace, but you've been doing a bit of rooting, tooting, shooting, haven't you, mate?
Yeah, we'll talk. Yes, it is. We've got 4 quite different things to talk about. It be like that sometimes. You can't help it. This is how games come, and this is what we've been playing.
There probably is no segue we could find between.
No, I mean, I went from playing the altars. I was alternating, funnily enough, funny word. I was alternating between the altars and this, which is such a weird pair of games. But I've been playing the Doom, the Dark Ages DLC, which is Doom, the Dark Ages, Revelations. Everything this year is like Revelations.
Oh, more Revelations, yeah.
What's the other one this year? It's Revelations or Resonance. They're the 2 big ones this year. So yeah, I've been playing Revelation, and they're both Final Fantasy titles. So I've been playing Revelations, Doom, the Dark Ages. And I know you guys don't have a great deal of interest in Doom. I know it's not a
I loved both 2016 Doom and Eternal and everything old Doom ever, but the Dark Ages added parrying, and then that's sad for someone like me who doesn't really do very well at parrying. So
it's fair, because it is quite a departure, even though it's very, very much Doom. Still, it's quintessentially Doom. But they did add new mechanics that weren't in any of the previous games. So they added the shield saw. So you've got a parry, you've got a Captain America shield throw jobby, and it's
you've got like the mad dash, haven't you? Just explodes people when you've hit them.
Yeah, and I found it super satisfying. I thought Doom Dark Age was brilliant last year. It was one of my favourite games of the year. It's not a very cerebral game. Like it doesn't necessarily set out to be. Like, there's puzzles in it, but they're dead easy, and the levels, there's alternate routes, and there's secrets to find, and there's like little challenges to overcome. But ultimately, it's you just murking fucking thousands of demons. Like
you just sets off that bit of your brain that says "gun goes boom."
Yeah, and it's what Doom is kind of meant to be. So I don't get the complaints that were leveled against it for that, because that's what you can't come to Doom and go, "Fucking, it's just shooting." It's like, what?
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the whole point. And like, it does there's some challenges in there. There's some little puzzles, like you got to find the blue key and the yellow key and the purple key and this sort of thing. Like, that's basically what Doom always was. And they really, in my opinion, like even the Dark Ages maintained the Doom atmosphere, if that makes the soul of Doom.
The Doomness
is there, yeah. But the DLC, so in the main game, you've got the Saw Shield, which was the new. That fucking pigeon's still made it. There's a.
He's back again for another week. Lyle, that pigeon's been on more than you this year.
Yeah, it's pigeons and doves. There's a guy over the road keeps doves, and then there's pigeons come in, and because we feed birds, we get crows and magpies and kites, and it's just a cacophony out there. And then we've got a field there with horses, which means mice, and rats, which means owls. And so at night, it's just like... But anyway, this time of night, it's just bird song. But anyway, Doom the Dark Ages. So, yeah, the original game gives you the Source Shield. That's the main addition to the game. The Source Shield lets you parry, it gives you another range attack like you need one. And then you've got the usual massive, silly, over-the-top Doom guns. Like I don't think there's even a standard assault rifle. There's an archetype that does basically machine gun stuff, but then there's a gun that like churns up skulls and fires fragments of bone at the demons.
Yeah.
And there's a gun that fires a literal cannonball on a chain, which just feels like a boxing glove gun, which is so much fun. And so it's got all this crazy stuff, and basically you just nuke everything, and you're never really in any danger. And it added stuff like there's a bit where you have to go into a giant robot suit, and there's another couple of bits where you have to fly a dragon. That sort of stuff I could take or leave. It felt too much of a departure from what I wanted to do. The dragon stuff's very on rails.
Is it just that they needed something to maybe separate it from the previous?
I think that's what they were trying.
Just a way to give it a bit of definition of its own character.
Two of the complaints from 2016 and Doom Eternal was they were quite long games.
Yeah,
the levels were massive. And then there was very little story holding it all together. So people were like as good as Doom Eternal in particular was, it was a game that there wasn't a great deal of story. The hub was quite small. And it was basically long ass levels, ripping and tearing, and not a lot of storyline.
But when you've got a soundtrack like that, mate, do you really need a story? Because that bad boy should be enough to carry anyone.
This is the thing, because one of the bones of contention in Doom Dark Ages is that it has a story, and it's kind of not very good. Like it's just it's the same old Doom stuff, because it used to be set in actual hell, and then now they've deviated, so it's not biblical hell anymore. It's not Christian biblical hell, and it's just a hell dimension, which
with
is
a medieval tinge,
which has its complete own mythology and its own history, and then it's got also this world where there's humans who are like sci-fi future humans, but they're fighting hell with swords and guns and spaceships, but mostly swords and dragons. It's very fucking weird unit. It's a heavy metal album cover of a universe. Like that's all it is. It's entire style over substance, and I'm here for it. And that's what it is. And like the storyline is that there's like a king, and the king is fighting this invasion of demons, and you're the Doomslayer, whose place in the overall mythos is just really weird, because the Doomslayer is just there, and like he was the Marine from the first Doom, but then he's all this other stuff as well, and I don't even know where the lore of Doom begins and ends.
So this is meant to be the same guy.
It's always the same guy. The Doomslayer is always the same guy.
That same Marine from the reboot.
He's just there's just a lot of like, not time travel, but like it's set over a long time, and he develops, I don't know, his powers, or he's like, I don't know. And I've played all the games, and I watched the movie with The Rock, and I don't know.
Don't
and I bet you also don't
that,
really.
Nick.
And I bet you don't really want to know either.
I don't,
because I wouldn't want to know.
Really.
I don't care.
I like it when they give him a shotgun, and then the music
starts,
you need, and that's all you need. So adding a story to it, I can see why id were doing that. I can see why because it's got a lot of cutscenes, and it's very grandiose, and it's kind of the most Warhammer game that's not Warhammer. It's that kind of universe, and that kind of atmosphere, and that kind of writing, where everything is like big and over the top and just fucking silly, and all the men are ridiculously muscular, and the women are muscular but hot, and it's like it's just that kind of universe. And then there's also guns and swords and demons and spaceships and interdimensional travel and all this other bullshit. But then like in the DLC, in the Revelation DLC, you get these flashback moments where you are still the Marine. So
you're going back to the previous game section.
It does connect it back. But that's like the storyline of the DLC, and I'll admit I'm not through it because I haven't finished reviewing it at this point. So I haven't finished. There's another 12 hours odd of story, and I've spent too much time pissing about because there's a massive new hub area, and I've spent too much time in there because there's puzzles, and you get a new weapon which replaces the shield, which is the chain spear, which basically gives you a grapple. Cool. And it gives you new ways of unlocking like solving puzzles.
I was going to say, is that a mobility thing as much as it is a weapon?
Yeah, because you pull enemies to you, but you can also swing across chasms with it, or you can hit switches a long way away. But then about quite early on in the story, I was surprised how early on you get the shield back. So then you can switch between them. So then you have to use the spear to solve speary puzzles. But I just went straight back to the shield. That's how I felt with this DLC.
Was that your comfy zone?
I like the new storyline. I like the new campaign. I like the new area. The new area is like snowy, which is a complete change to...
Yeah, that's very not Doom, yeah.
Yeah, it's a complete change to what we were doing in the Dark Ages. But I was just like, soon as they gave me the shield back, I was like, thank fuck for that. And I just put it back on because the parry on the spear and the new attacks, I just can't click with it. It doesn't feel as immediate and satisfying as the shield.
Is that also hours of muscle memory from you playing the base game as well, maybe?
Well, maybe. But then Adam struggled with it less. And he finished Doom, the Dark Ages, right up at the point when he got the DLC, because he finished it and went straight into it. Whereas I finished the Dark Ages when I was reviewing it, which was last year, and I haven't played it much since. I played it a little bit after to like mop up some stuff on the maps and things like that, but I probably haven't played it for, I don't know, maybe a year. I don't know, I can't remember when it came out. So like I went straight into DLC and they were like, you play with the shield at first, and I was like, I don't remember any. I even had to message Adam, was like, how the fuck do I do this with the shield? I can't remember it. I can't find it in the menus. And I worked it out, and then as soon as I worked it out, I took the shield off me and gave me the spear, and I was like, right. So I've struggled a little bit. The guns are the same. There's no new guns. What it does is it strips all your armor away, and it strips the shield, and then you've got to rebuild the shield, rebuild your armor, rebuild and build up the spear. So the stuff you're collecting and leveling up builds into these three.
That's the narrative pull of it.
Yeah, which is cool. I like that. I like collecting stuff. I like killing bosses, and it gives you a leader soul, and then that you can upgrade your armor with that. So you got this reason to keep playing. And then it adds this new Slayer hub, which is the massive area that connects the overworld of the game. And it's just full of puzzles and secrets and hidden things and challenges. And then, like, you finish the DLC campaign, and then you unlock an arena challenge, and you finish the arena and you unlock an Uber boss, and you complete the Uber boss, you unlock another set of challenges, and you complete those set of challenges, and you unlock something else. And then it's like, it adds this thing called, well, there's always been a Repertorium in Doom, which is like the endless mode. Basically, it's like the Doom's version,
kind of like a horde mode.
Yeah, it's just where you go to just kill demons, and you don't have to do the campaign. And the Repertorium, you can change parameters. You can like put this difficulty, this biome, all that sort of stuff,
just to make it comfy for you. So like, here's what I like doing. Go and do it.
I just want to do that, yeah. And it does that again, but now it's got like a jukebox mode where you can remix, like. Because the soundtrack, if you're a metal fan, is fucking chef's kiss. So you can go and remix the music to play different songs in different levels, which you wouldn't think makes a difference, but it kind of does.
I'm guessing, yeah, it changes the feel of certain things.
And then there's things like it adds classic Doom levels, like genuine levels from the first Doom game in a modern
in this engine.
It's in this engine, but you can, if you like blast through the walls, you get like the pixels underneath.
That's cool.
And stuff. And like some sections, like the enemies that are coming at you are animated, like they look modern, but they're animated like the old Marines.
Kind of shuffly bullshit going on, yeah.
and like that sort of stuff is excellent. And it's got the old like soundtrack from like the early game, and it's got all this, and that's like in the Repertorium. And then like it's just basically they've just gone, here's 12 hours of campaign, and then here's 50 or 60 hours of fucking about that you can do or not do. It's a
bit of a love letter.
Yeah, and it's just good. Like, again, it's like the Alters DLC. If you like Doom, then you're just going to get this. It's just more Doom. The spear I can take or leave. I don't hate it, but I only use it when the game, and there is fun to be had. Like some people will probably prefer it because you can do stuff like you can pull yourself up into the air and then do like a ground slam with it. You can obviously you can latch onto a bigger demon, and then just swing around them.
Oh, nice.
So like you can run at them and jump and throw the spear into them, and then like like lasso yourself.
The classic Doom guy Spider-Man crossover fantasy.
Yeah, to the other side of the arena, and it's got all that stuff, and it's got like it does like a stronger area of effect attack, so you can hit more enemies at once with it than you can with the shield, and it's really fun. But the shield was so good. Like, I love the play style of the shield. That's what made Dark Ages for me. So going back in, I was like itching, and I said to Adam, I'm not feeling this. Something about this I can't click with, and I think it's the parry. Instead of just doing an immediate parry block, you have to swing the spear, and it takes probably only like half a second longer, but it's enough that the timing was just like, it doesn't feel like I'm supposed to be parrying with a strike. It's weird, and I couldn't get it. And then as soon as the game's like you got this NPC in it who's like, without, I don't know whether it's a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but you get your ass kicked, which never happens to Doom Guy, but he gets his ass kicked at the beginning, which is why he loses all his powers. And it's just a classic, this is the DLC, we're going to take your powers away. But he gets his ass.
They've gone the Metroid route.
Yeah, and that never happens. Like, Doom Guy's just invincible all the time, and everyone, like, even the hell is scared of him. But in this, they're not. He gets his butt kicked at the beginning, but then he gets left for dead, and he gets resurrected and saved by this NPC who doesn't show its face for most of the campaign. It's quite a reveal when it does. And so when you wake up in this Slayer hub, everything's broken. Your armor's shattered, your shield's in bits. So you go off and do a few missions, and then eventually you'll come back, and there's a point where this thing that saved you is like, I need you to trust me, and it's gives you your shield back to say, I've fixed your shield. But it only does the basic shit where you pull the pull cord on it.
Start getting those powers back in.
Yeah, and then like you go and you start getting powers back. But it was that point where I walked into this level, and this thing was like, do you want this back? And I'm like, fuck yes, yes. And then the game just changed for me. And I don't know if that's what id intended to be the feeling. And I've not read anybody else's reviews or anything, so I don't know if it's a shared sentiment. But for me, that's probably not what they wanted. And I wonder if in playtests, that's the feedback they got, and that's why you get the shield so early. Because I suspect... Because most of the stuff you can do in the shield in the level, they could have put a different trigger on it, and you could have done it with a chain spear.
Right, okay, yeah.
And most of the shield stuff is in the Slayer hub. So I just wonder if they maybe had some feedback and went, I think we've got to give people the shield back.
Well, surely it's better to have that freedom of choice, because whichever is your preferred playstyle, I guess you can pretty much run with that once you reach a certain point.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. It's really good. It's good. I've not reviewed it. I will review it between that. Probably I would imagine there'll be a review up on the site by the time this goes live. But at the time of recording, I haven't finished it.
You may have time to grow to love that spear, Mick.
Yeah, and but then, I've got Halo now on PS5.
So that's all gone to pieces now.
Which I'm allowed to say, but I can't give any impressions. But I can't anyway because I haven't played it yet. We only got code today.
Yeah.
So
it's exciting times though.
That's kind of looming over most things.
Yeah.
At the moment, because I'm a Halo sucker. But yeah, Doom the Dark Ages, the Revelations DLC. If you like Doom the Dark Ages, get it.
Again, basically. Buy it. There you go.
Just buy it. It's simple. If you like that, you'll like this. So last game then tonight, we're doing quite well actually, is one I haven't played, but I am going to get the demo, I think, because I'm really interested. I don't think it's my sort of game, but you go on about it.
Well, going from one banging soundtrack to another, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is Rhythm Heaven, and I've heard just wonderful things about this, and I don't know whether it's a game for me or not.
I wouldn't readily associate you with this style of gaming, Mick, to be honest.
Bear in mind,
but it's so joyous that I can't see how you wouldn't enjoy it.
I do like a rhythm game sometimes. I like Hi-Fi Rush. I might like the rhythm levels in Rayman. Like, I'll play a rhythm game.
Yeah.
What about more like, it's not the same, but the classic like Rock Band, Guitar Hero stuff, where it's pure rhythm work?
I've never played either.
Really?
Never.
That seems weird already.
Yeah. I thought everyone had at least a bit of experience with that.
No, I never played. Just I bought it. We had it at one point on, like, one of the kids had it on something. Like, might have been one of the Nintendo consoles, and I just never got to it. They used to play it, and I watched them, but I just never.
Well, I don't know if you'd agree, Lyle, but this is the more distilled version of that.
Yeah, definitely. This is like rhythm purity. This is like it isn't expecting you, like something like a Guitar Hero Rock Band expects you to like figure out how to make your sausage fingers press buttons the right way. Whereas this is like, you know how to press the A button, you'll be all right.
It will carry you most of the way. It's less about living out that musical instrument fantasy that you might have always had but never picked up a set of drumsticks or a guitar. But all of us can press A because we've been doing it for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
So this is the one that I read about people doing. I think you guys were talking about it recently, where this is like people play this blindfolded and stuff because you get
that is completely plausible for a lot of it, and sometimes it's even easier because you're not distracted by what are pretty lovely visuals.
Yeah,
and
just
can
sort of adorable shit going on.
Purely get into the vibe and just play it from sound alone. Which sounds weird, but sometimes it's just easier to go, right, don't look at that fucking robot doing things. Just wait for the sound cues and be on time with it.
So this is a pure rhythm game, yeah? There's not a narrative or anything like that. It's just
not really. No, I mean, I guess each mini game, because it's structured as mini games, is basically like you're doing some sort of silly and light-hearted task, like.
I guess you could kind of think of it almost like WarioWare, but with longer levels.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
And music.
and a lot more music.
Important music shit.
Yeah.
So like you sort of have like you almost pretty much every level starts with like the equivalent of a small tutorial of like, here's when you're gonna press a button. And then you get into the level and you try and press the button at the right times to the music, and it sounds it's much more exciting than that. When the specific task and when you're hearing the music. But like
rhythm sections or rhythm games, it's innately satisfying, isn't it? That's like
100%.
In me, it's always driven that you always strive for perfection for it. So, like Lyle said earlier on with Denshattack, and like dropping it at the last moment, there is nothing more heartbreaking. Here, you're not readily punished for that, and you can get away with quite a lot. But for me, the satisfaction comes in. Oh, I've hit that absolutely bang on all the way through. It's not that demanding in actuality. Like, you can get through a level, and you can fail a level, but it takes quite a lot of doing. Normally, you'll get a ranking of good, very good, or amazing. And and you always want the amazement. Even then, you can get away with a couple of drops and still get an amazing result. But that's not to say that later on you won't be rewarded for getting a perfect run as well. It's definitely. It's one that on the surface. Sorry,
in past games, it's been more punishing. It's been more punishing for sure in previous games where you've been like, oh, I've got to really fucking focus and give it a go on this one. Whereas in this iteration of Rhythm Heaven, they've definitely made it like you can get through the stages all right yourself. You'll be okay, but it'll at some points if you want to get. Because for an amazing ranking, you basically get a medal which unlocks mini games and stuff in the like different modes and stuff like that. But to just play more of the base game, you can just you'll probably manage it. Like, I can't recall failing many levels. So
I was about to say, you can't fail it mid-level either, can you? You just know afterwards when it basically goes, sorry, you didn't do good enough, go for it again. So you'll always get through that section. It's like it will suddenly cut you off and go, no, back to the beginning, you fucked up too much here.
That's interesting. But it's quite casual. It's obviously quite light-hearted. Like, it's not.
Oh, it's very light-hearted, yeah.
It's and you mentioned visuals, because I don't even know what this game looks like. Because there's a lot of these, right? This is a long-running series.
Yeah, there was DS, 3DS, Wii as well, I think.
Wii for sure. And I can't recall if there's another one, but it's quite a while since there's been one at all. Like, this is the first in quite a long time.
Visually, Mick, it is a big mishmash of art styles.
Yeah.
Some will be like almost classic 8-bit style for certain sections.
So
Others will be like nice, bright vector art.
Vibes based, though, I imagine.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like a vibes game.
But it's also quite clever. This feels like a weird game of trying not to spoil things, but I guess you can a little bit. But what you'll do, so say you've got a level 1 will be 4 levels, and then that final level, the 5th one, will be a remix of those first 4 levels.
Okay.
So it might be that you're pressing A in a given situation. One might involve you pressing down an A at certain musical cues. That 5th one will smash all of these together. So you'll be chopping and changing between those visual styles and those mechanics. And it does it quite cleverly in the fact that it'll be blending it. So say you're pressing A on every, I don't know, 4th beat. It will then merge the other game that involves pressing A and takes over that rhythm where it would naturally do it for that mini game. That makes sense.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
And it will pull you together, and that's how you pass to the next level. You've got to get through that remix level so that you progress further through the game.
Okay.
And it is casual, but it's so satisfying, man. Just getting through those, and as you unlock each bit, and you are aiming for those medal results. It fires off the right part of my brain to go, oh, bollocks, drop that. Let's go again. Let's go again. Let's go again. And they're short enough that it doesn't feel like a chore. You know, I mean, each one might be, a minute long, Lyle, once you start going through level?
They can't go longer than like a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes at a stretch. They're like,
even the remix ones are short, chopped up. It's not like you've stuck each one back to back or anything like that. It's just pushing them all in together for 2 minutes.
Yeah, and that's what also makes things like when you are given the sort of like, do you want to try and get this one done perfectly moment, that makes it all the more like, I can actually do this. It's not that long. Yeah. I know when to press the buttons, and I'll just I'll go for it. I'll really lock in and just hope that at some point I'll close my eyes a few times if I need to, and I'll get there.
So
that's a weird thing to say halfway through a level. I'll close my eyes if I need to.
Are there difficulty like? Can you up the difficulty? Because I actually think the rhythm game I've played the most out of everything is probably, and it's the only reason I kept a Quest 3 for so long, was Beat Saber, because that I don't know if you've played Beat Saber, Lyle, or not.
Oh, I've played a lot.
Beat Saber is just, I mean, even the game, not VR version, is fun, but the VR version of Beat Saber, basically lightsabers, chopping blocks.
It's the ultimate VR game even now, man.
But even then, there were certain songs and certain, because you knew the rhythm of the level, rather than play the game on a harder difficulty, there were certain levels that you would just go, I can do this on extreme or whatever, and it was like you'd have 1 or 2 levels where you could just do it on extreme, and other levels that you could struggle with on like normal mode.
Yeah, just
but
regular.
Like you would adjust the difficulty to suit whatever mood you're in. But is that like does this have that level of customization, or is it just?
Not that I am aware of. I think
again, I've not seen that unlock anywhere either. It is very much here's what you're faced with, get on with it.
Yeah.
But none of them so far have been that challenging that I've thought, oh shit, I could do with an easy mode for this one.
Yeah, and then at the same time, it doesn't really matter if they're easy, because you're always just sort of striving for that perfection, and it's not like when you get sunk into a song in another rhythm game and you're like, oh no, I'm really fucking nailing this, because you're not really like actively doing things so frantically almost. You're just sort of hitting those cues when you need to open your little umbrella in the rain, or jump through a hoop, or catch a frisbee as a dog, like all the different weird games. Hammer a can.
I love that one, man.
It sounds quite hypnotic though. Like it sounds quite what's it like? Like a chill out game almost, like something that you just like, I'll put this on for 20 minutes and quite addictive.
It will try and put you off though. So once you get comfortable with the rhythm, they will put things on screen either to distract you or block your vision. So there'll be a level where I can't remember which one it was, but you'll be playing along and suddenly it's like somebody's put the silhouette of a can right in front of where you're watching. So you've got to rely on your natural rhythm of what you've been doing, because you're losing some of that visual cue as well. So it'll be like, you've got used to this. Here you go. Here's a problem. Or suddenly there'll be flashes in the background that have made you think, and put you off. That's where the difficulty can come into it. And I've not seen them do that in a remix level yet, but I could certainly imagine that's coming.
Yeah, I imagine so too. I think we've played about the same amount, so yeah, I think we're sort of on a similar basis for that. But yeah, and these things are all just like you're learning the timing based on the cues, because there'll always be audio cues, and it'll always be like that there'll be 3 beats in a certain rhythm where you know exactly that you hit it just after that, but then they'll do a slightly different variation on that, and it's like a slight pause and then press the button, and all these different things that just you need to line up. But like when it all happens with like a soundtrack in the background that's just so pleasant and lovely and catchy, and like especially on things like the remix levels, it's like actually like it feels like they've amped up the soundtrack a little bit with like full on like vocal performances and stuff that I don't really think of with Rhythm Heaven in past games.
It's nearly like a little boss level, isn't it? Essentially, and there's a sense of a bigger event when you're doing each one. Yeah, and then one of the things I found odd at times, and I don't know if you'd noticed, Lyle. So on the earlier groups of 5 levels, there's no option if you think, oh, I've fucked it here. You can't go back and just restart that bit. Essentially, not quickly. What you'd have to do, they introduce that later on. So at first it's almost like just get through it and carry on through. But as you go in later and you think, oh, I've fucked up this level, you can literally go in, hit restart, and be pretty much straight back in again. I thought that was just a weird choice that you don't get that straight from the off.
I like a fuck it button where you can just be like, oh, I've done it wrong, restart.
Quick restart, let's go back in again. And that is there, but it's not until later into the game. Yeah. So maybe it's just because they want to get you used to those smaller levels and maybe force your way through to develop the skills that you're going to need, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I can't say I noticed because, to be honest, in the first levels, I was like, I'm excited to see what's coming next. So I wasn't trying to perfect things. I was like, I'll perfect this later. That's fine. And when I'd get to the end, I'd see that they'd given me a medal anyway, which I wasn't sure I deserved. But I was happy to have it. So
that's my sort of game, though. That is. I'll come back later and get the 100%. Right,
there's nothing worse on this one as well, though. Like we're saying, it when you drop it at the end of like a sequence, but also when you're like, right, I'm going to go for this straight away, and you bollocks it up on like the second note, you're like, for fuck's sake, knackered it straight away.
I fucked this.
I'm not 100% completion chaser, so I think I'll be fine. But I can imagine that. Yeah, I can imagine that it would drive you mad if you were. Right, should we leave it there? Because that's 4 good games, 4 good chats. Yeah. We've got a bonus.
All bangers.
We've got a bonus to record, which I think Mr. Singh is joining us for.
He is. He's waiting in the wings on standby, ready to jump in.
Because we are doing a music quiz, I believe, which Steve
we are.
So this the main pod, which we've just recorded, this goes live on a Monday, and it goes up for the patrons a couple of days earlier. And then we're going to go and do the bonus pod now, which is usually something silly or I guess more fun. It's usually sometimes we do something
different in it.
Sometimes we have a theme. Sometimes we'll do a chat about upcoming games, which we need to do again, another most anticipated. But usually it's some kind of a quiz, which one of us will throw together. So this week, Steve's on a music quiz. So we're going to go and record that. And these go live on a Wednesday, but they're Patreon only. So they'll go up on the Patreon and nowhere else. Every now and again, we might drop a week for whatever reason. Sometimes we fill the week with one of these older bonus pods to sort of give you a taste for what they are. But if you want to see them new and all of them, you got to get
and there's a lot.
Patreon. There is a lot.
Oh,
there is a lot. You got to get, and they are. We've been told very entertaining. We have a lot of fun making them.
Yeah, we enjoy doing them as much as anyone enjoys listening to them.
I feel like
it's when you get the real us.
Yeah,
that's
I feel
who we
like
really are.
The Patreons dig them. So go check them out. But we're going to go record that now, and we're going to go and lampoon Kieran Singh in with us. So I think we'll wrap it up there. I've been Mick Fraser. He's been Steve Chambers. He's been Lyle Pendle, and you guys have always been lovely. Bye bye.